What if I told you that millions of pounds in crypto were being used to dodge sanctions, buy firearms, and fuel the global criminal underworld? All happening in broad daylight and right here in the UK. Stick with me because today we're diving into one of the biggest stories in crypto, and that is how the UK National Crime Agency led a global takedown of a sophisticated money laundering network. Hi everybody and welcome to Enter Crypto with me, your host Chris Kenyon. So let's talk about Operation Destabilise. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry, you are about to, because this wasn't just any run-of-the-mill police investigation. It was actually an international sting operation targeting criminals who had weaponized crypto to move millions of dollars across borders. But here's the twist. They were not just moving money for the sake of it. They were actually dodging sanctions designed to cripple illegal operations, all while reinvesting in black market trades like firearms and drugs. And this operation was massive. To give you some perspective, Operation Destabilise ended up leading to the arrest of 84 people and the seizure of over $25 million, which is an equivalent of 20 million pounds in sterling. And this was all in either cash or crypto. But this wasn't just a UK issue, because this investigation stretched across multiple countries, multiple jurisdictions, including Russia, countries in South America, and even the Middle East. And the UK played a pivotal role, acting as a hub where physical cash was converted into crypto and then back out again. So why the UK? Well, we'll get into that in a moment. But for now, let's see how did it work. So we're going to break it down, and there was two major networks, one called Smart and one called TGR. They were both at the centre of this operation. And their strategy was both simple and ingenious, because first, funds would be collected in one country, often in cash, and then using crypto, these funds were transferred across borders, and in some cases the money was handed off in a physical cash suitcase right here on UK streets, and within moments equivalent amounts of crypto would then move across the blockchain, making this trail for law enforcement almost impossible to follow. And this is where OTC trading desks seem to have come in. OTC is just short for over the counter. And OTC desks are typically used by investors who want to trade large amounts of crypto without actually causing big price swings on exchanges. But for criminals, they were, in this case anyway, the perfect cover. Because they could convert cash into crypto and then back out again in jurisdictions with weak regulations, which effectively erased the trail. And as Slava Demchuk, who was the CEO of AML Bot, explained, by hopping on and off OTC trading desks, criminals could effectively obscure their on-chain trace, which in other words means that they were using crypto's decentralized nature to stay one step ahead of investigators. So why was the UK such a central player in all of this? Well, for starters, the UK has this thriving financial ecosystem, and unfortunately this does include a shadowy side. Investigators noted that large-scale exchanges of cash for crypto was happening all across the country. So picture this, someone hands over a big bag of cash on the street, and then within minutes, investigators are seeing an equivalent amount of crypto moving across the blockchain. So, no physical money needs to actually be crossing borders anymore. They can then move it around on the blockchain and then get back out of it whenever they want. So it's seamless, it's fast, and until recently, it was almost invisible. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because criminals were not just moving money to hide it or launder it, they were actively reinvesting it back into their illegal operations. So they were buying more drugs, weapons, other black market goods. And so essentially crypto became the sort of oil that kept their criminal machinery running. Now, let's talk about the challenges that investigators faced. While the UK did take bold action, the global nature of crypto meant that cooperation between countries was crucial, and here's really where things get sticky, because regulations vary wildly across the globe, and in some countries crypto exchanges cooperate with law enforcement quickly. In others, it's a bureaucratic nightmare. And if we just look at one example from Byron Boston, who is the CEO of CryptoTrack, he actually assisted in a case where $1 million in crypto was being laundered. And investigators immediately identified the exchange involved, but the exchange demanded this what's called a Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, or MLAT, before they were willing to hand over any data. So it sounds reasonable, but Byron explained that these processes can actually take months or even years, and by the time the paperwork goes through, the funds are often long gone or liquidated or, just untraceable. And so this red tape is effectively a massive problem. And it's kind of like playing a game of chess, but your opponent gets to move twice for every move that you make. But in a fast-paced world of crypto, every second counts. Crypto moves fast. And so the next question is kind of, are there any lessons for the crypto industry? Is crypto to blame, or are we simply dealing with bad actors exploiting the technology? And the truth is that crypto, obviously, almost everybody knows that watching this video, isn't itself inherently bad. It's just a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good, or it can be used for harm. A hammer can be used to hammer a nail, or you can clobber somebody over the head with it, And what this investigation highlights is the urgent need for better regulation and faster international cooperation. Because if OTC trading desks and exchanges cooperate quickly with authorities, then many of these operations could be stopped in their tracks. But without this cooperation, criminals are just going to continue to find loopholes. So what does this mean for people like you and me, everyday crypto users? Well, firstly, it should be a reminder to you all to always be cautious about where and how you trade crypto. Stick to regulated exchanges, avoid OTC deals unless you fully understand who you're dealing with. It's mainly institutional investors that will deal with OTC desks. And secondly, it's a wake-up call for that the crypto world is still evolving. As governments catch up with the technology, we're likely to see more regulations and more crackdowns like this. And as we wrap up here, I just want to ask a question. Here's a question for you. Do you think that governments can ever truly stay ahead of crypto? Or will the decentralized nature of blockchain always give criminals the upper hand? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. I read all the comments. And remember, while stories like this shine a spotlight on the darker side of crypto, they're also highlighting the technology's potential for transparency and accountability, because the blockchain doesn't lie. And as tools for crypto compliance and forensic analysis improve, which they will over the years, we might just see a future where the good guys finally have the edge.